Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Thor: Love and Thunder released a new scene that, along with a higher resolution and wider aspect ratio IMAX version of the latest trailer, I don't know how much lower that frame can go. We're already pretty deep in that gutter. I know. God's bless IMAX. I'm gonna break down all the new details that we have learned. And let's start with the new scene from the film shown at the MTV Movie Awards, thus the cheering you hear in the background. This is the battle taking place in New Asgard as the Asgardian troops, the Einherjar, fight these creatures that I think are the Black Berserkers unleashed by Gorr's sword, All Black, the Necrosword. So Thor must have had a quick sighting of Mjolnir. Maybe it flew in from out of nowhere and knocked a few berserkers off him, and now he calls to it like a dog, whistling. Not unlike the way Yondu would whistle to summon his Yaka arrow, which is ironic since this movie seems to be visiting Yondu's home world of Centauri 4 and his native Satoan tribe. Reassembled Mjolnir nearly floats back to him, but flings back to Jane. But I like how it still considers for a moment to return to Thor's hand, suggesting Thor still has some pull over it, but that in this new reassembled form, it's more responsive to Jane. I theorize that could be because Jane's power-up comes from a blessing from the cosmic overseers like Infinity, the Living Tribunal, the Watcher, Death, and Eon, the ones with the ultimate power to promote beings from one tier of godly status to a higher one. Jane swings the hammer by its strap, which I has always loved as a way of a new wielder showing their full mastery of this weapon, like how right after Cap first lifted and caught the hammer in Avengers Endgame, as he charged toward Thanos, he swung Mjolnir by its strap to build up a charge. Let's move on to the recent trailer and the new IMAX version of it that was released, including some 4K quality footage, allowing the blurrier details to now come into sharp focus, and a wider aspect ratio, allowing us to see more of the frame, unearthing some interesting details that we didn't see before. Like first, in the shot of Thor's showy arrival and the battle alongside the Guardians on Centauri 4, new little detail I appreciated, in the upper left corner, some tribal paintings on the surface of that rock formation. From the Zatoan's ornamented wisdom tree to Korg telling these kids the legend of Thor Odinson, I just love how much of the culture we're getting of this extraterrestrial society. Whereas in the past, with planets like Hala and Torfa, it was really just a big CGI background, characters, people in costumes on landscapes we don't really get to explore or see much of. Another interesting detail in this new aspect ratio that might just be the angle deceiving me or some unfinished VFX, not sure yet, but as Jane arrives into the chamber with the statues of cosmic entities riding on that Pegasus, you can see the statue of Lady Death on the lower left corner and the Living Tribunal on the lower right. But in this shot, and the shot where she lands, the Living Tribunal's face most visible, facing the far right, is uncovered by the hood. Now the Living Tribunal has three faces: a fully uncovered face representing equity, a fully hooded face representing necessity, and a partially covered or half-covered face representing revenge. All three of these faces must agree before the tribunal can rule on anything. So in effect, there are actually not 5 voices in this chamber, there are really 7, with the Living Tribunal having 3 votes in a sense. So in this first shot, the face on the far right is that of equity, fully uncovered. But the reason I bring this up is that in the trailer's later shot, when Jane ignites the hammer with lightning, the face on the far right is now the half-covered face of revenge. So the statue head has rotated. It is possible that this statue, all of these statues, are not stationary, lifeless representations of other beings, but rather themselves moving figures who can actually talk to Jane, with that Living Tribunal head floating and slowly spinning in place. Let's move on. Another detail that we missed from before, the goat boat pulled by Thor's goats from Norse mythology, Tangrir and Tangnjost. The goats have very different appearances. One lighter with simple horns, one with darker fur and spiraled horns. Also, in addition to this boat having a neon sign, Cocktails and Dreams, a sign from Tom Cruise's movie Cocktail, now on the side of the boat, you can see its official name, Egger. Egger was the god of the seas, known as a devourer of ships. Like most Norse mythology figures, Egger appears in the Marvel comics, the Thor comics of the 80s, showing up at various Odin feasts. But this video is brought to you by The Ridge. The Ridge wallet is light and sleek and industrial. It's designed to fit in your front pocket, unlike those bulky old school wallets that make you look like you're smuggling an 80s car phone in your back pocket. Check it out. There are over 30 colors, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. It holds up to 12 cards and still has room for cash. Card, and gold dollars. This is what they call the Black Damascus. Only the finest in my front pockets. Every Ridge wallet comes with a lifetime guarantee, and they'll let you test drive it for 45 days and send it back for a full refund if you don't love it. The wallets have over 40,000 5-star reviews. It's made with an RFID blocking technology that protects you from those digital pickpocketers. They also have other cool products like this commuter backpack. It's weatherproof and great for toting around a laptop. This month actually marks 9 years since the Ridge started, and they're celebrating with a special sale. So get 15% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/newrockstars. That's ridge.com/newrockstars and use code newrockstars. Find the link in the video's description. But speaking of the gods, we can now more clearly see the pantheon of gods in Olympus and how some of them are clearly larger in stature than others, organized in separate opera boxes, which, based on the way Zeus floats down to Thor, are actually detachable floating platforms similar to the Coruscant Senate chamber in Star Wars. Jane helps Thor break free from his custody on a central dais, releasing Mjolnir's broken pieces in a cluster spray, which is such a cool new way of using this weapon in a range attack because each broken piece presumably retains the full power of Mjolnir as a whole. And then after that spray, she can presumably retract the pieces back into its full cracked form. That way, it's actually kind of a benefit that Mjolnir is in its broken cracked state. But during these fight shots, you can now see one of the larger gods on the throne with an interesting headpiece. And based on Zeus's role in the mix of gods from across cultures being represented, like we know one of them will be Bast, aka Bastet from Wakandan and Egyptian mythology, this may actually be the Council of Godheads from Thor comics, also known as the Council Elite, Sky Fathers, or All Fathers. It's a mix of gods representing dozens of earthly pantheons overseen by Zeus, but also includes the Mayan god Itzamna, Egyptian god Osiris, whom we saw in Moon Knight, the Celtic god Nuada, Iroquois spirit Manitou, Russian entity Svarog, and Aztec deity Tezcatlipoca. I butchered the pronunciation on many of those, I'm so sorry. I will get better. But Mayan mythology potentially coming into play here is actually very significant, as we are hearing increasing rumors that Black Panther Wakanda Forever will feature Tenoch Huerta as Namor, art showing Namor in Jaguar-inspired costume designs, and Huerta recently telling Vice that he has had to learn to speak a Mayan language for many of his lines. So in the way Ryan Coogler based the Wakandan spoken language on Xhosa, a South African dialect, it seems like he's doing the same thing with the Atlantean language based on Mayan. And in Mayan mythology, Itzamna is the creator deity depicted as a humanoid with an elaborate headpiece. But there are other Mayan deities associated with jaguars, like Xbalanque. Again, sorry if I mispronounced that. This is one of the Maya hero twins who descended into the underworld, or what's known as God El, the primary lord of the underworld, because jaguars were seen as having the ability to cross between worlds. As for the Maya, daytime and nighttime represented different worlds. This is all a way of saying that, as we said before, Black Panther may be revealed in the MCU as the avatar of Bast, and Namor may be an avatar for the Mayan jaguar deity. And Atlantis may have been a colony that sunk off the coast of the Yucatan, being a rival kingdom to Wakanda. Perhaps the meteorite strike that gave Wakanda Mount Pashenka could have caused a global earthquake that caused Atlantis to sink into the ocean. We're gonna find out more, of course, when Wakanda Forever makes its announcements, but it seems like Love and Thunder may begin to set up that spiritual framework, which is very, very exciting. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.